Good afternoon, everyone. It's Anifa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, I thought I would come out to the forest to talk to you about dining in Bali. And Bali dining is quite interesting. It's definitely different than our cuisine in North America. But today, I thought I'd start with a quotation for you to ponder as I share some information with you. This quotation is by Anthony Bourdain, and it says, "You have to taste a culture to understand it. You have to taste a culture to understand it." And for those of you who follow me regularly, you know that in terms of tasting a culture, it goes way beyond food, of course, right? So we know that in terms of getting a taste of a culture is really feeling the energy around us in terms of the kindness, the sense, the visions, the observations that we can make about people's interactions with each other. And of course, dining is fantastic anywhere that we go. We many times look forward to different dining because we're going to a new location. So if any of you are thinking of going to Bali, or if you're just curious about what kind of food is eaten in Bali and what's most common, I thought I'd make a list of a few things that are very popular over in Bali. And I thought I'd start with number one, sambal. Sambal, so some of you might know this is not a food, it's more of a condiment, but it's actually on almost every table that you'll see in terms of dining, that sambal is always available. And this is, again, technically a condiment. It's chilies, a shrimp paste, which is fermented, and lime juice, sugar, and salt. And sometimes people will put some few other things in there, but usually this is the basic for sambal. So you will find this in every restaurant I've seen, at least, and it's very, very common to have this as a condiment to flavor anything that you might be eating. And again, I think that some people really like spicy food over in Bali, just like some people really like spicy food here in North America. But sambal is a beautiful flavor. So the next one, number two, satay. Satay. This can be for chicken, goat, lamb, rabbit. You'll find all of these in Indonesia and certainly in Bali. And this is marinated in turmeric, then it's barbecued, and then it's bathed in a peanut sauce. And this is such a lovely flavor. It's something that any of us can try here, but certainly in Bali, I would encourage that you do try it because you'll see satay listed on a lot of menus, and there will be different types of satay. So certainly get a skewer of satay and give it a try because it's quite flavorful. And that is something I should actually comment on right here, is that a lot of the food in Bali is quite flavorful. So if you're very used to just something like salt and pepper on your foods, get prepared for some taste explosions that you'll get to experience in Bali. And then there's something called bakso. Bakso, I only recently learned this name, but it's a meatball noodle soup. Its meatballs are actually springy or rubbery. And I know that at the homestay that I stayed at, the owner actually made this for me, and when I wasn't feeling so well. And I have to tell you, it's a very comforting soup. But notice these meatballs are springy or rubbery, and that was kind of a surprise to me. It's a particular preparation, and these meatballs can be anything. So it could be chicken, it could be lamb, it could be goat, it could be any combination of these too. So the mystery meat. So again, this is quite a tasty soup too. If you are a meat eater, just recognize that if you see bakso, you are going to get some meat. And if you're a vegetarian, then you know that even though it's a lot of clear soup in there, there are fried shallots and a boiled egg and wontons in many of these, yet bakso is a meatball noodle soup. So then the next I thought I would talk about is kind of along the same line, but it's called soto, and it's a clear soup, and it's flavored with chicken, goat, or beef. So again, for vegetarians, just recognizing that even when you're getting a clear soup, you might want to emphasize that you're looking for a vegetarian base of it too. But for those that are eating everything, this is a very flavorful soup too. And I learned that in Jakarta, which is a place I did not visit, but there is an indigenous betawi, which is literally this same sort of soup. It is creamy though. It's a coconut milk base, and this is very well known in Jakarta. And some people will travel to Jakarta simply to have this, and some people will travel back to Bali to stick to the clear broths. So again, there's different things that you might find in Indonesia, in Bali versus other places. And again, I found that foodies really do travel to the places that are known for specific meals. So this is something that you can be familiar with before you even travel to Bali. And certainly if you're only just thinking about what is Bali's food like, this is the video for that. There is something that is very, very popular in Bali and probably Indonesia in general. It's called nasi goreng. And it's actually known colloquially, I'll say, or maybe publicly, maybe it's quite well known. It's kind of Indonesia's national dish. And this is kind of what we would think in North America is like an Asian fried rice. So you can get a vegetarian version, you can get a chicken version, you can get a beef version, and all of these are available and they are super tasty. So this Asian fried rice, yeah, they have something like a soy sauce that they're using, and of course it'll have some chilies and it'll have some shallots, and sometimes even the meat dishes will have vegetables with this, and it's quite tasty. So it's something that I would definitely recommend that you try if you do travel there. And then the final one that I wanted to make sure I mentioned today is called babi guling, and this is roast suckling pig. Now, roast suckling pig for a lot of people is quite a delicacy, and it certainly is in Bali. Now, you might know that Indonesia, it's uh, it's a Muslim majority, but it is a favorite in Bali. So there are people that will travel from other parts of Indonesia to go to Bali to have this, and it's easy to find in Bali. And it's interesting that this also has a very careful preparation. So oftentimes it will be bathed, the pig will be bathed in coconut water and then spices, so ginger, garlic, turmeric, and then it will be roast and out on a spitfire. And again, this is something that many know Bali very well for. This is something that many people look forward to when they go to Bali. And I'm not a pork eater, so I can understand that people do enjoy it, and I do know that people really did. And so if you do eat pork, you will enjoy this, I have no doubt. I wanted to make sure that you know that there's some other things that you might find in Bali too in terms of food or cuisine or even just snacks. There's one thing that I found very unique, different about Bali was that almost every meal that I ordered had a fried egg on it. And this is kind of a flattened fried egg. It's not a sunny side up, but it's a sunny side up squished down. And this was on almost every meal. So in terms of, don't be surprised if you haven't ordered egg, but it's on your meal. So again, if you're vegetarian and you do avoid eggs, then this would be something to be mindful of and maybe request that it's not on there. If you do eat eggs like I do, then you'll find that it's actually a nice addition to meals. So, but it was interesting to me to see it on almost every meal that I ordered. The other thing is it's not very common to receive knives when we are ordering out, so takeout, and even when we're eating in. There are spoons and there are forks, but there's very rarely a knife. And this is interesting. So people use, of course, the edge of their forks and spoons to do the cutting of anything that they might need to. But I thought that was very amusing because it was so interesting that it just was not common to have knives there, which was very, very interesting to me. There are a lot of sweet dishes. So in terms of sweets, I will say a majority of the snacky sorts of foods that you can get even from street vendors, and certainly a lot of homes will make these sorts of sweets, and they're very much rice based. So you know that Bali has a lot of rice production. And so this is rice based many times, and sometimes there's some plant addition in there, and you'll see some green in there, which really looks like food coloring green, but it is a natural plant green, and it does have a unique flavor too. So this will be often combined in these rice treats. And there's snacks. So even at weddings, there will be a lot of these sorts of snacks. And some of these are rolled up and inside. Though I've seen there's something that has a crepe on the outside, it has the rice on the inside, and then it has sugar and coconut mixed together and cooked up. And It is so tasty. So, unfortunately, I don't know what the name of that one is, but it was actually one of my favorite treats over there in terms of snacky food. Then there is one of the most common things that you'll also see is there's a lot of fried food in Bali. So, fried vegetables, fried dumplings, there's all sorts of fried food. And you'll see there it can be root vegetables like cassava, or it could be fried anything, quite honestly. I found that there was quite a bit of fried food. And again, not that anyone has to have that fried food, but it is tasty too. And I know that when people have fried foods here, we might think of fries themselves. And yeah, there's coconut fries, or um, it's fried coconut or baked coconut. And so even the snacks, even peanuts, nuts in general, there's lots of fried nuts. So it's unique that we see a lot of this fried food. So when someone is looking at healthy choices, and we might think if nuts are very healthy, you might want to see, were they baked or were they fried? Just if you are that particular, then you want to see, how was this food prepared? And quite honestly, I think on vacation, I would encourage not to get too hung up on how is this prepared and what exactly is in here. But because you know that there is sugar cane over there too, right? So sugar is actually used quite a bit, but it is often cane sugar. And the cane sugar is a little less sweet than regular sugar. So even when you're getting treats, know that it's likely got cane sugar in it. And that's kind of nice and comforting in terms of anyone who's dieting. And of course, there's lots of fruit over there, so that's quite available, whether in markets or off the streets. You can see fruit that's available, tropical fruit of all sorts, everything from passion fruit to dragon fruit to jackfruit. So many different types of fruit, durian. There's so many different types of fruit, and just like anywhere, there's seasons for different types of fruits. There's mangoes there, but if you're out of the season, you won't really see them. So this is what I wanted to share with you today. And I also wanted to finish this video with reminding you that Bali is actually very open. It's got so many cultures that are part of it, that any type of food that you're wishing for, you're hoping for, you'd like to taste in Bali, you will get it. So let's say you've been eating Balinese food for some length of time, and this happened to me, and you're kind of craving something that's familiar from home. I know that I was able to get Middle Eastern food very easily, so that was good. There's Italian food is very easy to find, and those were probably my two backups of if I wanted flavors that were familiar. And so for you, just know that no matter what you might feel like eating that's familiar, it's available. And that means that all of the box stores are available there too. I've seen, I won't name them because I'm not trying to actually promote fast food stores that have originated in North America but are spreading across the world. You will find everything that you're familiar with here will be available there. And sometimes the bigger cities will have more of those availabilities than the smaller towns or villages, but everything is available, and service for getting food delivered to you. So even if you're in a smaller village and you need to get something that you really are craving, you'll be able to order it and have it delivered right to you. And it's very easy to do all of this. I, of course, would encourage that you actually taste the flavors of Bali. And I will say, for my experience, the spices were just a little bit different. They're a little bit tangier, spicier. There's something different. I definitely noticed a lot of lime, and I love lime. So if you like lime, you will find it. But there's so many different flavors, and they're not definable in the words that we would normally use here in North America, because what we're used to using are things that explain the tastes of things that we're used to eating. And over there, get ready for something completely different and really wonderful. So I wish you a fantastic dining experience. I hope that this video has been helpful to you. And I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Make sure that you enjoy your travels. Have a great day, everyone.